Hello Florence, how you doing?
I'm fine, ma.
How are you coping with the cashless?
I'm coping with cashless through my Inera wallet account.
How does that work?
It's very easy and very reliable. So the only thing I do is just download my Inera app on my phone, then follow the procedure. After following the procedure, they are going to send ID number. So if I want to make transfer, I'll just tell the person to download Inera. Then they will send the person in ID number. So once they send the ID number, so I can send to that person through the ID number. Just enter the total amount I want to send, then request for the person ID number, then send it with no interest, no charges, nothing, and it's very fast.
So you've not been cleaning an ATM?
No, I've not been using ATM.
So Naira?
Yes, I've been using Naira for almost a month now.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yes.
Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're joining us for the first time, I'm your host Ebika Nobut, and this is Isaac News. And if you're with us again on this new video, welcome back to this channel. So today on Isaac News, as you've seen already from the video, we're going to be talking about the cashless policy that is playing out currently on the national front. So we're going to talk about the pros, the cons, the why, the what, the how, same things we ought to know in order to be properly positioned to transition as the nation currently is transitioning into a cashless policy phase. But before we continue, I want to make one point clear. Cashless policy, okay, does not mean no cash at all. Okay, let's get that straight at the onset of this video. Cashless policy does not mean that there will be no cash at hand. A quick reason why it doesn't mean so is that as we speak already, hundreds or thousands of notes have already been printed. So if we wanted to go cashless and be literal with the word cashless, we wouldn't go ahead to make new notes. Okay, cashless policy is a deliberate attempt by a government to reduce the amount of cash in circulation in order to curb inflation and to control the movement of the flow of money within the economy in order to foster economic growth. So this and many more are going to be dealt and talked about in the course of this video. So please, without any further ado, let's get right into today's video. All right, I want to cast our minds back to the early 2000s, okay, to the year 2000 and the year 2001. Now you'll be wondering, what does this small boy know about the year 2000? How old was he? I was quite small, okay. I know nothing about that time, but thank God for records, okay. I've seen certain things that have informed us, and I want to remind us, and even the older generation would better understand what I'm about to say right now. So we can recall in the early 90s the emergence of landlines, and Nigerians began to queue to make phone calls with landlines to call our dear ones, and it was an improvement to what had existed before, which was telegram and fax. Fax. I'm very sorry. And night post and messaging, just writing letter and sending letters sending letters to people. That was the major means of communication in the 90s. And then in the late 90s, early 2000s, we had the landlines in place, and people would queue on landlines to make calls, to reach out to people here and there. And they're very rich. The people who could afford the luxury, had landlines in their houses, and they used it. And then came GSM, that is Global System for Mobile Communication. So when GSM first came to Nigeria, which was about 22 years ago, it was far more strange compared to this new cashless policy. It was far more strange. It was unbelievable. Imagine, as rumor had, as in just tale has it that a SIM card was between 20 to 30,000 naira. A mobile phone back then was between 20 to 30,000 naira. And then think of what 30,000 naira meant in the year 2000 and 2001. 30K right now is big money. This is 2023. Go back 22 years, 23 years ago, 30K was, I don't even know, some people was like it was a year's wage, a year's salary, an annual wage, annual income. That was big money. And there was a lot of fight back. There was a lot of pushback as to, oh my God, no, we don't want this. It's not good. It's not healthy. And they were pushed back, but the government insisted that this is the way forward. The whole world is transitioning to global, to using phones, to using mobile phones, and we would not be left behind. And so the rich who could afford it began to purchase these landlines and to do what they ought to do. And as time went on, technology improved, it became cheaper, and became affordable. And at some point, in just few years ago, a SIM card sometimes was being sold for 100 naira. One SIM card at some point in this country was being sold between 100 and 200 naira. Something that was worth 30,000 naira at some point became 200 naira. So what happened? The fact that it was costly, just basically, as we've heard that I think it's whether scarcity is the mother of innovation, or be lack the mother of innovation. Typically, the unavailability of these resources to the general populace compelled and forced this big tech giant then to look for ways to make these things easier and affordable and easier to use. That's why they're called smartphones. Smartphone doesn't mean smart people use it. No, you don't have to be smart to use a smartphone. The phone is already smart. That's why just in the body, if you've seen a 1 or 2 year old operate phone, that child is not necessarily smart. The phone is smart, so any level of intelligence can interact with the software and bring and do useful things out of it. So like I said, talking about the past, back in the days of Nitel and MTN, you can recall very well that it was stressful. It was really hard. Sometimes people had to climb trees or climb hills or climb tall things. Why? Network. And they were being charged. They were being charged per minute. Not now that we are being charged per second. So imagine if there was network glitch back then and then your call got cut at 3 seconds. They would charge you as though you made call for 1 minute. Yet we persevered and we pushed and we stayed true as a nation. And today we're talking about what? Okay, we moved from there to 2G. We moved to 3G. We've moved to 4G. As I speak to you right now, MTN and Airtel, MTN has already issued out 5G. In case you're not aware, Airtel recently has gotten license from the Nigerian Communications Commission. I didn't fall your hands. The Nigerian Communications Commission. Airtel has paid for its 5G license. It's going to roll out 5G very soon. As I speak to you right now, MTN and Airtel already have eSIM. This eSIM was existent before we started talking about cashless policy. Because the leaders at the top of these tech companies understand and know that Nigeria is ready to embrace this level of technology. That is why they are going ahead to make eSIM. eSIM is available. I don't have it. I don't know if I'm going to have it anytime soon because I may feel that it's too early. But the people in the market, the people in the sphere, in the region, don't think the same things. Okay? Nigeria back then, if we could embrace GSM, we are too ready. We are very ready to embrace a cashless policy. And I want to echo this again. Cashless policy does not mean no cash at all. It just means there is a little amount of cash in circulation. So before you know, I wanted to watch this video of this very young boy. This is a young boy in the northern part of Nigeria selling sugarcane, and he has a POS machine. This boy, if this boy can be so smart enough or prepared enough for cashless policy, it is enough sign that Nigeria is ready to transition. Enjoy the video.
When the mirror came out, I call my POS.
POS da kyamma?
Ya da kyamma POS ake yi gashi nan muna kallo ai. Bari ya ja mana.
Cewa ga mai rage.
Zaro ka ba shi kudin shi tunda da kyamma ta koma POS.
Ai bai kamata mutanen su ba.
If you're just joining us, this is Isaac News. I'm your host, Idi Kanabot, and let's continue with today's video. As at October 2022, okay, currency in circulation was supposed to be about 3.23 trillion naira. About 3 trillion naira was the currency outside the vaults of banks. Within the banking system, what was available? 500 billion naira. 500 billion naira within the banking system. And in people's home, we had about 2.7 trillion naira. We all saw from videos that notes minted as far back as 2003. 2003. Some of them were untouched. It is very bad for the economy. So every year the central bank prints new money and it is supposed to be destroying an equivalent amount on a yearly basis too. Because there's something about inflation, which is part of the reasons why, part of the thing this new policy is trying to curb, inflation. So when there's too much of something in circulation, when there's too much supply above demand, what will happen to the price? It will lead to devaluation or a price drop. So money we had minted and printed in the early 2000s were still in circulation as at 2022, or they were in hiding, they were stuck somewhere. So there was too much cash. There was too much cash in circulation, and it led to a price hike. It led to inflation. So one thing that this policy is doing, it is curbing inflation. So by removing all those plenty money out of circulation, now every money you see has value. Every new 1,000 naira note you see right now, you cherish it now more than you cherish the former 1,000 naira note. True or true? Because it is not that now it doesn't have more purchasing power, but it has a lot of value because it is scarce. So now that the shortage of supply, what has happened? There is increase in demand and an increase in value attached to the commodity, which is cash right now. Imagine 3.2 trillion naira was the money available in Nigeria, yet only 500 billion was within the banking system. 2.7 trillion was sitting down in places we cannot account for. And this caused real inflation. We saw videos now of people bringing Ghana must go worth of money. Many of them had decayed, rot, was bad. So that's one big thing that the central bank has done. Right now, as you speak already, it has cleansed the system of a lot of next thing is cleansing the system of counterfeit currency. When a money stays in the economy in a nation for so long, it gives bad people enough time to study the money and to make counterfeits. Enough time to do that. But with this new money, now every counterfeit that has existed in Nigeria with the old notes has gone away by virtue of the fact that this old Naira note will cease to become legal tender by the 10th of February 2023. And we have a new set of notes that with a lot of security details to ensure its originality. So first, it has helped to control inflation. Second, it has helped to curb what's the word again? It has reduced counterfeiting. The next thing, as we speak right now, lack of cash has had adverse effect on kidnapping and banditry. Who would believe that there is a direct correlation? But because of no money now, bandits and kidnappers have calmed down, waiting for things to stabilize. Why? Bandits and kidnappers typically want cash. Because whenever money moves from one account to another account, it can be traced. And they don't want to leave footprints that can be traced so that they will not be caught. So they always wanted money in nylon. Ghana must go. You go and withdraw money and give them cash. You can't trace it. Not just that, people who want to defraud and to be fraudulent. When you make transfers, it's easy to trace it. But when you withdraw money, you cannot track where that money withdrawn is going to. So it has tried to curb counterfeiting and the future to also make corruption a more difficult and strenuous process. I hope we're all following. Another thing, like I said about banditry and kidnapping. So right now, there's no money. So if you kidnap somebody, it will be very difficult for you to even get money for ransom. So these guys are just calming down, trying to see how to the small money they have, how they can survive, and probably how they can deposit the money that they have, so that it will not become illegal or useless in the long run. Now that is an immediate effect. Let's look at economic effect of these things. The more transaction we do online and the more we rely on cash, the better for the economy. The more the Nigerian government spends in printing money on a yearly basis will be slashed by about 70%. We used about is it 100? We used about 100 million naira, if I'm not wrong, to print the current new money we have now. We spent a lot of money to print the current new notes that we have now. That money will be reduced drastically when we no longer have the demand for cash again. That's one thing. Two, with cash, you can have things like sharing of notes. Money is torn and that money is gone. But all that is non-existent when you're moving money from bank to bank. Money can't stay in your account. Money can't get lost in your account. Money can't get spoiled in your account. Money can't get stolen in your account, except you're not careful enough to know fraudsters and scammers. So this cashless policy now, the final thing I want to talk about is the economic impact in terms of the fintech industry, the financial tech industry. We have people like Flutterwave, we have people like Konga, we have people like Jumia, we even have Amazon coming into play. When you make a society to be so digitalized, industries like the fintech and the fintech industry, the banking system, even marketing, online trade and investment would see a surge in terms of the volume of transaction that goes on in the country. So right now, a lot of people are going to have POS. Almost every shop right now will have POS. That is a plus. So there will no longer be issues as regards giving change and collecting change, because when you buy something, you use your debit card and you pay for whatever you buy, the exact amount of money you used to pay for it. That's one. Two, there will be nothing like, oh, I misplaced my money, because you're walking around with your ATM card. So you swipe your card, you pay, and you go where you're going, and your money is intact. Secondly, it would eliminate the place for hoarding. Every time you hoard cash, that cash that should have been in circulation and increasing because as money moves and keeps moving, it will be multiplying itself. It will be increasing, because when you do buying and selling, there is profit. That money that would have been circulating within the economy to generate more money has been hoarded in times past, but now it will no longer be hoarded, because money is sitting in your account, is being used. The billions you dump in your account, the banks take it and loan it to people who trade. So the money is not necessarily sitting down, it's being used. And a lot of investments are going on every day. All the small businesses that need online transactions to survive will see a boost in their trade balance, because a lot of people are going to come online to do more and more buying and selling. I know the issue right now, you're saying, okay, what of the poor people in the village? What of those who don't have access to this? I've said it over and over again. Cashless policy does not mean no cash at all. Cashless policy does not mean no cash at all. It means limited amount of cash in circulation. If you have seen the video already of the Aboki boy selling sugarcane, he has POS machine. You don't need to have a high IQ to operate POS machine. This limited cash would compel even market women to have POS machine, and it will favor them, because they will not have to be counting their money and to make sure that, oh, my money is intact, oh, this, oh, that. When you want to buy plantains, when you price finish, you say, oh, I'm last price 5K, you bring out your ATM, she bring out her POS, you buy what you want to buy, and she goes. So it will compel us to be up to speed, because we are trying to catch up with trends right now. We're trying to catch up with Europe, and it's happening, and it's going to happen. In fact, this calorie policy is going to help us to catch up as quick as we can, because as we speak right now, Elon Musk has already launched Starlinks in Nigeria. giving us a network speed of over 120 megabytes per second. MTN has already rolled out their 5G MiFi and Wi-Fi, operating at a very high speed. Airtel has gotten their license for 5G Wi-Fi. With 5G, Africa can catch up with the rest of the world. But if we still use a lot of cash, it would slow down the process. But when we have 5G and we have little cash, it would compel us to become digitalized. And this is exactly what we need going forward. I know this video is lengthy. I talk too much, but I know that a lot of value has been shared out in this video. There's a lot you will stand to gain from transitioning. So please, oh, thank God I didn't end the video. Whenever the deadline from February 10th, every old money you have is no longer legal tender, but it can still be deposited in the bank. So let us say I have 5,000 naira after February 10th, old money. I can take those old notes to a bank and give them, and they will deposit it in my account. The only thing is that that money I cannot use that money to trade, but I've not lost my money. Please, this is another misconception or misinformation that is circulating around. After the deadline, you have not lost your money. You can go and deposit it into your account. You can go and exchange it for new notes after the deadline. Please know this and have peace. Okay, so this is the end of this video. I trust that you understand the things that have been said and that this can help you make proper financial decisions. So until we see again, remain blessed.